Hi, welcome to Moments of Mindfulness. I'm your host, Emme, and today we have a fantastic show planned for you guys. Today we're going to discuss yoga. Yes, yoga. And believe you me, it is something you're going to fall in love with after you hear our guest today, which is Nicole Ferrel of Kachina Yoga. She practices eclectic yoga, and she's going to show us how we can bring it into our life without necessarily knowing how to do 1,000,001 poses. She's going to show us the benefits and how it actually improves your life, and even how it can bring out this health. Because don't we all want to be healthy? Don't we all want to feel better? Don't we all want to enjoy our life and not feel tired and rushed? There's so many benefits to yoga. So that is why we're bringing this episode to you in the third episode of the show. One of the points that I want to make right here is that for those of you who have joined us through episode 1 and episode 2, you kind of already know the flow of the show. It's about giving you back the power in your life. It is about you coming to a place where you really enjoy living, and that is the whole point of Moments of Mindfulness. For our audience, what we want to see is you regain your health without all the medicines. We want to see you regain your power without running and feeling like you're pulled to and fro in every which way. So definitely stay tuned, because we have a fantastic show for you. Welcome back to Moments of Mindfulness. I'm your host, Emme. And today we have a special guest, and I'm very excited about this guest. Her name is Nicole Ferrel. She is the owner of Kachina Yoga, and she is an eclectic yogi who teaches many forms of yoga and shows us how we can get our life by putting yoga as a major part of it. And I mean, whether you can do the moves or not, or whatever you thought that you knew about yoga, forget it. Because today you're going to learn to love it, trust me. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about Kachina Yoga and yourself and all of that.
So first, thank you so much for having me on the show. Congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
Before we get started on me, can I give you a little gift?
Sure.
Yeah, I brought you a little something.
I love gifts. Oh, it's so pretty. It's wrapped perfectly. Oh, wow.
You can just like...
Oh, there's something else slipped out. I got one thing in my mind. And, oh, I love it. Look at that, loves. It's a Kachina Yoga shirt. I have my very own now. I love that. I love your design, by the way.
Thank you. I did that myself, too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I have a Kachina Yoga bag. Look at that.
Yeah. And there's one more thing in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It keeps getting better.
It's a little headband, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, I got to open this, y'all. Oh, my goodness. I love this. The branding is off the chain, and this is amazing. Y'all know I'm going to be wearing this on the show. I'm just saying, it's one of those things that I have to give. Look at that. This is beautiful. And you could feel just like good energy on it.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it. I love it. And the fact that you designed your own logo, I like that. 8-pointed star.
Yes, that's my number 8. So what got me started with yoga, it's probably been maybe 22, 23 years since I got started, and I was going through some ups and downs in life. And yoga kind of fell in my lap, and once I started practicing, I noticed how it changed my vibrations, it changed my stress levels, it changed everything, not just my body, but internally as well. So then I got deeper and deeper, and actually the first time I considered teaching is I found a teacher who I just fell in love with. She was eclectic in her own way, and she was like, "Why don't you teach?" And I was like, "Oh no, I don't think I want to teach." And she just kept pushing me, and so once she did, I went to the same guru that she went to, and ever since then, I've just been really excited about helping people to change their lives. I mean, yoga has helped me through a divorce, yoga has helped me through the death of a child, yoga has helped me through loss of jobs, and just all kinds of different stressful situations. So it really, really works. It works physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Wow, that sounds amazing. You know, I have been hearing about yoga for a very long time. And I remember one day I said, I want to get into yoga, so I had bought a yoga DVD. But the very first thing it is all these poses that look, you know what I mean? Like one of those things nobody can do. And I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. But with you practicing and just having the relationship that I have with you, I've seen a different side of it. So would you like to tell us a little bit about how you can practice if you may have some kind of physical limitations?
Sure. Well, the thing about yoga, the word yoga, the Sanskrit terminology, it really means to merge or to yoke. And so it's really taking the energy of the spiritual, the physical, and the mental body and bringing them into one. So it's a mind, body, soul practice. So when you see people doing the pretzel-looking poses, what they're showing physically is a manifestation of actually the work that they've done spiritually. So yoga kind of works from the inside out. There are actually 8 limbs to yoga. The physical postures or the asanas is just one of the limbs. And like some of the limbs are, the first one you start off is just like, type of morals or ethical standards, self-discipline, and then you get into the physical poses. Then you get into pranayama or the control of breath. And then we have pratyahara, which is the control of the senses or sensory deprivation. Then you get into concentration, which is here in the West, they tend to think about meditation. It's really in yoga, it's concentration, which is a focused point. Then we go into meditation, which is like just a way of life, and it's a way of being able to be amongst anything that's going on and not lose your vibration, not lose your train of thought, not lose your focus, just being internal and releasing all of that extra senses, emotions, and everything in order to reach you into the final limb, which is samadhi. I'm sure you've heard of samadhi, yeah. And that's just the state of bliss that we all literally want to live in and be in. So when you see the physical poses, while the physical poses do help with detoxifying the body, strengthening, toning the body, and opening up the chakras, also with things like mantras and things like meditation and things like that, you are actually still practicing yoga. So some of my students that are actually in wheelchairs and things like that, a lot of times I'll encourage them to do some of the poses mentally, and it helps them to actually get into the pose without physically getting into the pose. They've had a lot of good results with the mental yoga as well. So.
Wow, and that makes sense because one of the first principles of the universe is everything is mental, So from a perspective, if you can even just hold the pose in your mind as if you're doing it, it kind of opens you up because the body, as we know, is a really, really solid illusion. You know what I mean? It kind of is tricky, but I really love what you said. Now, I do have a question, though. So when you start, because it does take some discipline, with me being practicing, oh God, I don't know what to call myself, but I love meditation. I do everything. I mean, I really do everything. But meditation was one of those things that it took a lot of discipline for. How does that translate for a person who's just been meditating if they want to do that?
So actually it's kind of backwards. The good thing about the actual physical postures is that when you're doing the physical postures, the great thing about yoga is it's a journey to the self through the self. So when you're in yoga, I tell every yoga studio that I've ever been to, you need to take the mirrors out because it's not a competition. No one needs to be focused on what anyone else is doing. You need to be internal. So when you're trying to hold a pose, it's actually the easiest way to merge into meditation because think about what you're doing. You're concentrating and focused on one thing, the breath, the holding the posture, and it helps people to actually get into meditation. So that's one of the great things about doing the poses is you kind of naturally lead into meditation.
Wow, that's I love that. I love that. Loves, you see how awesome this is already. So definitely join us again. We have to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Nicole Ferrel and some things you can do today to get started on your yoga journal. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Moments of Mindfulness. I'm your host, Emme, and today our special guest is Nicole Ferrel of Kachina Yoga. And if you missed the last segment, we've been talking about yoga, the different limbs, 8 limbs of yoga, and the different ways you can practice even if you have physical limitations. So one of the things that we just left off talking about, and guys, listen, make sure that you don't close your mind, because I get it. It seems sometimes intimidating, especially when you're trying to learn something new, and then it's all this new terminology, and it's all, it's a lot that comes along with it. Do not be discouraged. You have to give yourself time to bring new things, assimilate new things into your life. So we were just talking about how you had clients, students who were even in wheelchairs who did their poses visually or mentally and everything. So do you ever, when people are first starting, especially when they start with those kind of limitations, what do you usually suggest?
Well, when they start with those type of limitations, then, there are some upper body, depending on what their physical limitations are, then there are some, focused poses that they can do just for their upper or their lower. But for the opposite, or whatever it is, if they had a complete breakdown in communication with the physical body, then I do suggest them to do, like the more mental yoga, and also to tone their mind up with mantras and with meditation, because being able to do the mantras is actually very tiring at the beginning, and it takes time to build yourself up to keep a focused concentration. Many people will stop chanting their mantras and just kind of move on. So yeah, that's one of the mental exercises that really works really well with yoga.
That's very true. For those of you who are new to mantras and maybe have heard of Malabis, maybe seen them but don't understand, the mantra, where they say is really effective is that 108th repetition. But throughout that time, and so Malabis have 108 beads, and you start at one spot. It's to keep you accountable. So if you're just starting with mantras, it's really great to get you a mala, so that as you're moving through it, you're moving the beads. And it's also a meditative practice for me. When I'm going through my malas, it's kind of like after a while, it just kind of becomes rote, and I'm doing it without really feeling like I'm doing something, and it becomes a habit. So definitely, for those who've never done mantra, consider getting a mala just to hold yourself accountable. If you can't do the first 108 starting off, get as close as you can, and don't judge yourself. It's a practice, like she just said. So tell us a little bit about your practice and your business, Kachina Yoga, and I also know you have courses,
So at Kachina Yoga, my main focus, I like to say our because I know it's going to turn into like this great big thing, but my main focus is working with the energy of the chakras. So I have courses that go through each of the lower chakras right now up into the heart chakra, and I know that but for everyone else, everything is energy, and each one of the chakras has its own energy. So we go through a course of 28 days, and it's focused intentionally on that particular chakra and the energy, learning to attune it, learning to understand when it's balanced, learning to understand when it's off balance. And and every single day has something that vibrates and resonates with that particular chakra. So getting people back in touch is what helps them to get that whole physical, mental, spiritual merge. And actually the courses take them through the basic introduction of energy, whether it be the energy of the body, the energy of the days, the energy of the moon, whatever it may be, and to help them to work that in. And we've had some really, really, really wonderful testimonies of things that have happened for people throughout the course. Yeah.
Definitely. So for those who don't know, your first one, which is the root chakra, is a free course. She gives you that first one free so that you can get a feel for it. And when I tell you that I've seen so many testimonials, the course is phenomenal. And even with me not being a beginner, I learned so much. It was ridiculous. And the funny thing is, as you talk about chakras, because there are so many people who all of this is so new to.
Yeah.
And then, when you look at the religious dogma that's there, they kind of just shine it off as some kind of other religion. Can we speak a little about that as far as how this is compatible with whatever you're doing?
Sure. So the interesting thing I'm glad you brought that up. So if you look at any of the religious texts, anytime you see the number 7, 7 ladders, 7 steps, 7 realms, 7 different things. It's always literally talking about the chakras. You know, there are many chakras, but the 7 generic ones is what I teach. And a lot of times I've had people say, I don't do yoga because I don't believe in that religion. But yoga is not a religion. It actually precedes Hinduism. Hinduism just uses yoga as a form of strengthening the discipline within their religion. So it is not a religion whatsoever. It is a practice and it is a way of life. Yes. And you can take it even deeper with yoga and get into Ayurveda, which is the healthcare side of it. And it gets really interesting because in Ayurveda, you tend to look at each individual body as a separate healing mechanism, not just one blanket generic thing, because it goes into what was the spiritual reason that made this physical manifestation happen in the body. So that's why I love Ayurveda. It's like my favorite. I love yoga, I love Ayurveda. I love anything that has to do with the whole subject, yeah. So not a religion whatsoever.
I'm glad that you explained it like that, because I think a lot of people oftentimes, rather than doing the research to find out how long something has been around, they tend to just shun away. And so for those of you who are watching, one of the things that's really important is that you realize that at the end of the day, whatever makes you a better person, makes you feel better about your life, and actually improves your ability to live on your own terms, is a friend to you. And so when we realize it like that, when we look at things as tools and assets versus liabilities and detriments, we make better decisions versus putting everything in a box or whatever. So could you tell us a little bit about how everyone can connect with you, the viewing audience, your website?
Oh, sure. So my website is kachinayoga.com, and that's Kachina yoga.com. And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube as well. All of my chakra courses are hosted on the Teachable platform, which is a self-guided platform that it's really easy to use. You just push a button for day 1 and it gives you all the information that you need for day 1. You push a button for day 2 and it gives you everything you need for day 2. And that it can be accessed through the website as well. And when you mentioned the root chakra course being free, so the reason I gave that course free is because so many people do not know what a chakra is. They do not know how energy works, and they are definitely scared of yoga. And so I wanted to make it easy to just pull all the information that took me 20-something years to gather into one place where you can just click a button and be able to get the information that you need to get you started on your journey. So.
Absolutely. I think that that's phenomenal. And guys, I encourage you, you have nothing to lose. The first one is free. You get to try it for 28 days. And if you will make that commitment to try it for 28 days, then at the end of that 28 days, you have where you start and where you end. And if it's not good, you didn't lose anything, but 28 days, a few minutes each day, because it's not lengthy. How long does it usually take per day?
So I have it down to about an hour per day, depending. You can go a little bit longer depending on how much you really want to get into it. The one thing I say about yoga is you get in what you put out plus a return. So anything you just showing up into the class puts you in a state of healing, and putting in more effort puts you in a state of healing. And it is not all physical poses. Each course has its own physical poses, but there's a lot of journaling. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. And there's a lot of different healing modalities within it. So don't be afraid if you're scared of just the physical poses. It's a great way to get started in the physical poses, but that is not the only thing that it encompasses.
Cool. So guys, go definitely to kachinayoga.com. Check it out. Hit that Teachable platform. Try that root chakra, and especially if you don't have any experience at all with chakras and energy and meditation or any of that, and just give yourself an experience. I am so grateful you joined us today on the show. This is phenomenal. I love every time we get a chance to sit and chat.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. Yes.
Guys, and definitely the other thing is be watching, because she travels and she does videos. So be sure to go to her website and subscribe and do everything. Make sure you follow her on YouTube, follow her on Instagram. Could you give them your Facebook, how they can connect with you there?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/Kachina Yoga. And we do have a new thing that I'm starting out in Houston. So I'm doing a symposium for women It's all women. But it's about working with the energy of the sacral chakra.
Yes.
And it's called the Stimulating Shakti Symposium. And Shakti is the energy, the goddess energy that we have within us. So we'll be in different cities. So definitely go to the website so that you can find out. And it's a 5-hour event focused just on the sacral chakra through music, meditation, mantras. It's going to be awesome and amazing. So
I'm definitely going to catch the ones that I can while I'm not on tour. This is going to be amazing.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, we will be right back after a quick break. Welcome back to Moments of Mindfulness. I'm your host, Emme, and if you hadn't caught the show before now, you missed a fantabulous segment. We have talked to Nicole Ferrel. We talked about Kachina yoga, her yoga practice, and how you can make yoga a part of your life. So this segment, I want to talk to you guys about some actionable things you can do to actually include yoga and some other things into your life to change the quality of your life right now. So one of the things that I talk about, and of course this show is called Moments of Mindfulness, so everyone knows meditation is going to be a big thing with me. However, it's not just meditation and it's not just mindfulness and just yoga. It's really simple things. Like for instance, if you've been feeling rushed all your life and you felt like you always are hopping up out of the bed and you got to run from the moment you get up until the time you lay down, then that means you need to rise a little earlier. So let's just say, for instance, that you usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and as soon as your feet hit the floor, it's like you're doing 1,001 things. Set your alarm clock for 5:30. Raise an hour early. And some of you are like, but if I get up an hour early, I'm going to have an extra hour worth of things to do. No, this time you dedicate that first hour of your day to, number one, laying there quietly for a moment, allowing your body to wake up, because oftentimes one of the things that happens when we're running all the time is our body is waking up later. That's why we're tired early. So you lay there for a moment, you let your blood begin to circulate, you allow your body to wake up, and then when you rise, you spend some time inside of yourself, present to whatever it is that's going on with you, and you set an intention for your day. Setting intentions for your day will change the whole scope of how your day goes. And it's one of those things you can start immediately. Now, talking about yoga, because today's episode is about yoga, one of the things I discovered personally was that when we first start a new anything, it could be a new exercise, it can be a new job, a new school, anytime we're starting something new, it feels intimidating, right? So if you bring yoga into your life, you set an intention, you schedule it in. I'm going to give my life 30 minutes of yoga. I'm going to either read about it, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to try something every day, and then you lengthen it every week. You make that time a little bit longer. You give more of yourself to that. And here's the thing. Right now, you may be looking at your schedule and saying, I have no time. Number one, we have to change how we speak about time. You have time. You just have to repurpose what you have. Everybody starts with the same 24 hours. And for me, I live a very busy life. Currently, I'm on tour. So we're in the middle of the Ascend into Your Divinity tour for 2019. And we're going all over the place, and I own a store, and I have students in my apprenticeship, and I have VIP clients, and I have regular clients, and I do readings, and I do healing sessions, and it's like with all, and I make products. I have my own fragrance line. It's like with all of that, plus a husband, plus grandchildren, it could be a lot. The way I stay balanced is I make time to set an intention to master my day every day on my own terms. I don't judge myself for what doesn't get done. So the first thing is rising earlier, setting an intention for your day, spending time with yourself, because many of you are spending hours each day on things that do not honor you, don't make you happy, and are not serving a higher purpose in your life. And until you can face that, you're going to always be, subservient to it. And it'll always rob you of the life force needed to actually be enjoying your life. Now, and I'll give you an example. All of us have to go through traffic, right? When we're driving back and forth to work, we're driving back and forth to church, to school, to wherever, taking the kids to soccer practice, whatever. Imagine if you use that time to put on meditation music, to put on a new class or new course on whatever it is you're trying to learn. Doubling down on some things frees up other time. Another thing that I would suggest while you're doing the doubling down, when you do save time, conserve time, make yourself the priority for that time. So later on that night, when you sat down and you realize you've done everything you need to do, take a moment and celebrate that victory. Celebrate the fact that you finished that day on your own terms and give yourself time to enjoy that. So that is one of the things I want you to get out of this show, actionable things you can do. Guys, thank you for joining us for Moments of Mindfulness. We have to have a short break, but we will be back shortly. Ladies, empower yourself with my new fragrance line. Emporium invites richness, royalty, and carefree living, and Empire invites intrigue and danger. Empowerment awaits at magicalmystic.com. Welcome back to Moments of Mindfulness. I'm your host, Emme, and I really appreciate you for joining us for our third episode. Yay! I'm really excited about this show, my loves, because I love what it offers you. Today we talked about yoga, and we also broke down the barriers between you and a better life by showing you that anyone can practice yoga. One of the great things about a show like today is you get actionable ideas, things that you can do right now that's going to change your life right now. And so I'm really excited about what you can benefit out of meditation, out of mindfulness, out of the yoga practice, and the discipline that comes along with it. So one of the things about this show, Moments of Mindfulness, is it is one of those interactive shows. And what I mean by that is not that you guys are calling in and we're doing the whole phone thing. However, you're going to every time get something that you can take home with you, or well, you're at home, and you can pull it into your life, right? So that's really important that you put to practice some of the things that you're learning here. So for those of you who don't know exactly who I am yet, maybe this is your first time ever catching a show, I am Emme. I am an author. I own Magickal Mystic, and it's located at 1207 Cypress Street here in West Monroe. I have many books actually out, but my bestseller is Spiritual Gangster, which talks about ritual and adding that into your life. I'm a healer, I'm a teacher and a trainer, and of course now a TV personality, which is amazing for me. I still love the fact that you guys actually come and visit with me every week. Now, one of the things I want to do is invite you guys to go to the website and look at the events that we have coming up and locations where we will be, so that you can maybe catch us live and also benefit from being around other people who are making these same changes in their life, because that's very important. And for those of you who don't know, I also have a new fragrance line out. I'm just through the roof happy about it, okay? So we have Emporium and we have Empire, and we just have a lot going on. If you can, go to magicalmystic.com and visit the website and look around at what we have going on. We also have a page for Moments of Mindfulness on Facebook, and it's facebook.com/Moments with M. And you can also call the shop 318 855-5414. Guys, thank you again for watching, and I look forward to actually sharing more positive episodes and information with you. You guys have been amazing. Thank you. Have a great one.